Being Julia 2004. In 1938 in London, the successful and famous theatre actress Julia Lambert has an open marriage with her husband and manager. She meets Tom Pennell, an ambitious young man of half her age that wants to socially rise. They have an affair and she has a crush on him. Later, Tom has an affair with the aspirant starlet Avice and uses Julia to get a part for Avice in her new play. Julia travels abroad, visits her mother, and when she returns to London, she plots a magnificent revenge. Annette Bening does her best work ever in this film set in the 1930s about the life of an English stage actress. Her performance is over the top when it needs to be, and at the same time one sees a trembling vulnerability, as in scenes where she begs her young lover to remain with her. Viaggio Celebrity presents top 10 movies like Being Julia. Number 10. Boy in a Bathtub 2006. At the height of the 1920s Paris, Flora, a beautiful courtesan and a kept woman by a famous surgeon, falls madly in love with Virgil, a cherubim florist 20 years younger than her who wants to become a painter. In the 1920s, Flora, a woman maintained by a famous surgeon, falls madly in love with Virgil, a cherub 20 years her junior, a florist with a painter's inclination. She locks him in her home in a secret boudoir to give him the opportunity to paint as he wished. She immediately provided him with the canvas and brushes and dressed him in the finest Bristols. Every day she spoils it with the sweetest pastry and washes it ceremoniously sensually. He becomes at the same time his lover, his child, his double, his wife, his love toy. Number 9. Film stars don't die in Liverpool 2017. Real life proved to be just as dramatic off screen as it does on it for aging Hollywood superstar Gloria Graham and her much younger lover Peter Turner. As their mismatched romance waxes and wanes over time, events conspire to keep them in each other's lives even when it proves to be difficult and demanding. Ultimately, they find that they must each come to terms with whatever fate they face in the future, whether they are together or apart. On the most part, while not perfect, film star Don't Die in Liverpool did not disappoint and did its subject justice. There wasn't much to criticize for me actually, though the quality of the production value left me torn. On one hand, there's lovely costume and very handsome photography. On the other, some of the sets are garish and lack authenticity, and some of the wigs are a fright. Number 8. Pingpong 2006. After his father's suicide, confused, angsty 60-year-old Paul goes to stay with his uncle's family. His uncle's wife is also unhappy with her life, so she and Paul have love and only end up feeling even worse afterwards. Things get ugly. Unemotionally disturbed teenager turn up at the home of some repressed relatives. This simple substrate economically combine a surprising number of subtle issues: grief, boredom, alcoholism, stress and lust, amounting to quite a time bomb in a deceptively domestic situation. It has a dusky, brooding quality, feeling almost like a mild version of Funny Games or Visitor Q. The boy is dealing with his father's recent suicide and evident sense of abandonment resulting in various behavioral phenomena that sociologists will have terms for. His cousin's family has its own emotional issue, a neurotic, artistic mother and son, the latter on the booze while practicing Bach's piano sonata for an audition. His mother, a bored housewife of impulsive passion. Number 7. Sonny 2002. 1981, Sonny is the son of Joel who runs a small brothel in New Orleans. He returned home from the army, staying with his mother while waiting to start the job an army buddy of his promised him. Joel tried to convince him to come back to working for her, as he had before the army, saying many of his old clients still miss him, and he was the best gigolo she had ever had. He repeatedly turns her down, wanting to leave that life behind. However, the job he was promised never materializes and he is forced to return to working for his mother. Joel had recently recruited a new girl to the brothel, Carol, who meets him and falls in love with him. They talk of getting out together. One of Carol's clients, an older man, proposes to her. She initially declined, hoping to go away with Sonny. She and Sonny fall out as he failed to make an effort to get out of the business, instead becoming increasingly introverted and depressed, with occasional outbursts as he looked for more work. Ultimately, Carol accepts the marriage proposal. Number 6. Sparrows 2015. Summer is nearly at its end, and Eric, a sensitive 16-year-old Khoi boy unable to move with his single mother to Africa, is forced to leave Reykjavik and reunite with his uninvolved alcoholic father and his grandmother in the distant West Peninsula. Leaving behind him the big city's bleak environment, Eric, vulnerable, will depart for the small fishing village of his childhood. And after 6 whole years of absence, he will attempt to reconnect with the unstable father, to soon find out that his only consolation in this secluded place is still his gentle grandmother and his childhood friend Lara. Eventually, in contrast to the sheer beauty of the captivating and pure Nordic landscape that encircle the remote village, Eri's crushing isolation coupled with visceral teenage angst will inevitably lead to a strong father-son conflict and the abrupt passage from adolescence to adulthood. An incredible film with brilliantly executed shot and solid performances by the actor that will leave a great impact on you. Number 5. The Grandson 2018. High in the hills among the last remnants of Hollywood's golden age, 24-year-old Todd and his 22-year-old sister Lenny live a breezy, charm life in the sprawling mansion of their grandmother Judy, a former movie star now relegated to hosting a dying home shopping show. Todd's carefree, narcissistic existence takes a dark turn when he accidentally shoots Judy, killing her instantly. Desperate to maintain his decadent lifestyle, Todd hatches a diabolical plan to cover up his grandma's death, keep her show rolling and keep the money flowing. After seducing Judy's partner Bob, Todd convinces her to allow Lenny to host the show in Judy's absence. The ploy works and the rating go up. Next, Todd turns his attention to the mansion's 25-year-old handyman Jacob, who also happen to be involved with Lenny. Jacob is the one person that can help Todd put the finishing touches on his evil opus. Number 4. Victoria 2016. Victoria is a 30-something divorced lawyer who is struggling to raise her 2 daughters. She is canny and cynical but on the verge of an emotional breakdown. At a friend's wedding, she reconnects with Vincent, an old friend, and Sam, an old client. Her life is about to take a new turn. In Bed with Victoria, directed by Justin Triet, has much to offer in a complex plot of misadventure by lead Virginie Efira. She takes in a young man whom she defended. He is an au pair and take over her house and children. He then take over her case. She doesn't know she love him. He leaves after she wins her case. You will have to watch the film to see what happens. It is funny. Virginie goes to a shrink, a doctor, an acupuncturist, a tarot card reader, one night stand, and a client to find out why she is not happy. Even one of her younger daughter rubs her back and says, "I love you," while she cries. "Am I too masculine in bed?" she asks Vincent. The Dalmatian dog hates anyone who get near his female owner, and this becomes part of a very funny divorce case. Number 3. Cosmic Love 2015. Cosmic Love is the story of a young man Kripa who is on the run from love and violence one night in Kolkata when he meets a woman Sadhvi who strangely resembles his dead mother. She gives him shelter and teaches him to travel inward through love. The film deals with Devatattva and explores the connection between love and spirituality. This is a textbook for non-educational school, a simple poem on human body. As a student, you can learn so many things. It's a simple narrative of Bisar Blue by him. This is very important film for Bengali cinema, not only for the content. As an independent film, it's a great success. The film stars Rishen, who won the Best Actress Award at Ocean Cinefan Festival of Asian and Arab Cinema for her role. Film is directed by Amitabh Chakrabarti. He is an alumnus of the Film and Television Institute of India, Pune. He has directed 2 fiction feature films, Kal Abhirati and Cosmic Love. Number 2. Lovers, a True Story, 1991. 1950s Madrid. After military service, Paco looks for work to save up and marry his fiancée. She rejects his love advances. So when he rents a room with a cute widow making advances, he caves in. Set in 50s Spain, a young man leaves the army and looks for a job so he and his fiancée can get married. He rents a room from a widow and shortly begins a torrid affair with her. The fiancée figures it out and decides to win him back by offering herself to him and taking him to meet her family. Ultimately, he has to make a decision. Pure country Catholic virginal Spanish innocent girl meets mature landlady who is after her boy. Of course, it all ends in a disaster because these guys are Spanish. This film is very moving for young Spanish girls because they recognize real life here. It says you can experience freedom through love, but you have to know what you are doing. Unfortunately, Spanish mothers are very conservative and you are lucky if they tell you about the curse. Number 1. Natural Selection, 2011. Linda White, a barren Christian housewife, leads a sheltered existence in suburban Texas. Her world is turned upside down when she discovers that her dying husband Abe has a 23-year-old illegitimate son named Raymond living in Florida. Somewhere on the edge of guilt and loneliness, Linda grants Abe's final wish and sets off on a quixotic journey to find Raymond and bring him back before her husband passes away. Along the way, Linda's wonderfully bizarre relationship with Raymond will teach her more about herself than she ever imagined possible and force her to come to terms with her troubled past. The sign of a great actor is to make their performance appear so effortless and natural there is little doubt they completely reflect the person they portray. Natural Selection would not be a movie receiving a lot of mainstream recognition, and that's a shame, for it is an absolutely wonderful little film featuring one of the finest performances you are likely to see in a while.